Hi everybody and welcome to another granular synthesis video. Today we're going to look at a new plugin called Straylight. So let's take the grand tour. Okay, so Straylight is a cinematic granular library which resides within the Kontakt sampler. It's a library for the Kontakt sampler. In this case I'm using the Kontakt Player 6 because I'm still at Kontakt 5. The Straylight plugin is developed by Frank Elting, which is a former Native Instruments employee. So he's been working on Massive, Machine and apparently the Kontakt sampler. So as we can see here we have a very nice smooth interface. And yeah, let's first play this first patch which I loaded up from the Keys and the Magnolian. So it's a kind of keyboard sound. Yeah, so I can go on I can go on the whole day and play just that one patch because I really like this sound of this one. So in the middle of the screen we have a XY pad, and we can see here we have a parameter called color and position. So if we move around in this little XY pad, we can see that these parameters move around in the waveform. This is actually the position of this left oscillator, or in the sample, and we have the position for this second sample too. Okay, so we can see here that we have two kinds of oscillators. We have the left one, which is the grains, and the right one, which is called sample. And if we press either of these, we can bring up a menu to load different samples for the grain source, and we have tons of different origin categories. And then we have here in the samples, we also have a selection of different samples. So this Straylight engine is mixing a grain engine with a sample playback engine. So we can go in here and look at the grain playback engine for this sound. So this is the position, the cursor position. And then we have the regular parameters which you often see in other granular plugins, and that's the interval, which is determines the time between the generation of the grains. So if we increase this, it will take longer time for each grain to play back. If you want to learn more about granular synthesis, you can always check out my previous video, my top 4 granular plugins, where I explain in more depth how granular synthesis actually works. So here we have the interval, and here we have the size, which is the length of these grains. And here we have the amount. So let's set it to faster interval and more size, and decrease the fade in, so we have a more snappy grains, and release the fade out. You can see that in this part it's more soft, and when we go to this part of the sample it's more crisp. Yeah, so that's the grain part of the sample, and then we have some additional tuning if we wanted to tune that sample. And we can also go to this sample section, which is for the sample, and then we can also mute some of these. And now we only listen to this Ambibel sample. So here we can load up another sample. Let's take the analog voice. Let's take another sample, maybe the antique toy piano. Let's see if we have a cello pizzicato. Yeah, that's some really nice samples in here. The grand piano. Okay, so let's listen to some of the more of the presets in here before we continue and look at some of these other pages. We can go to Atmospheres here and listen to the first preset called A Wall of Glass. One thing to note about the granular sounds is that they often work best when played very sparingly and maybe only play in octaves or play some simple melody. Often when you're working with granular sounds, it's enough to have maybe one granular sound or two granular sounds in your track, because they can take up a lot of space, as we can see here down in the spectrogram. Let's continue here and listen to the Blue Whale. Oh, that's a nice sound. It's a quite spacey sound there. The cadence. Yeah, that's a very evocative sound there too. Also very evocative piano sound there. Yeah, and aside from this XY pad, you also have 4 macros here. I mapped them up in Bitwig here, so I have them as macro knobs here also. So we have a low pass filter, and some color parameters. seems to be dampening up the sound some. So you have the high frequency rattle. And some feedback. And you have to note that these are only the labels. So if you want to change, you can change these here, but it's only changing the label. So if I change this low pass cutoff to high pass cutoff, it's still a low pass cutoff. So if you want to change these knobs, what you actually do, you have to go into the master section here and go to the modulation page here. So if we go to the effects tab here, we can see that we have effects for the A part and for the B part. And here we have a filter, delay, some kind of compressor, dynamics, and then we have a utility. Let's continue here and look at the master section, because we also have a master section of effects. And here we have 2 filters, a reverb and a dynamics plugin. And you can also change the order of the effects here. So we have a low pass and a high pass, the reverb. And the plugin actually comes with a huge selection of impulses for reverbs. We have some gyroscope. Quite cool reverb. Let's look at a more traditional choir hall. Okay, so let's listen to some more sounds here. Let's go to the pads category and listen to some of these pads, because you often create pads when you're working with granular synthesis. Okay, so let's go and see if we find some more film noir. Yeah, so that's some of the pads, and let's go and listen to the pulses. Angel's Dentist. Okay, so that's a quick insight into the Straylight, the granular plugin. If you have any questions on Straylight, please shoot them in the comment section below. If you're new, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, join the Discord server, and write some kind feedback in the comment section below. Okay, so now you can continue and watch my other video on granular synthesis. Thanks for watching today, my name is Matthias, and see you in the next video. Bye!